Traitors Season 3, Episode 10, The Power of the Seer. Are you kidding me with that cliffhanger? Another phenomenal episode of what is hands down the best reality TV show competition on television at the moment, maybe of all time. What a round table, and they leave us with the cliffhanger, which I didn't see coming until the very last second when I checked the clock and I realized we were out of time.
Brittany, let's go! Do it, Brittany! Come on. Give it to me. Do the right thing. Make America happy. They're gonna go cliffhanger. Motherfucker! I knew it! Motherfucker!
Bravo, Peacock. Well done. I can't say the same for Danielle and Brittany. Those goddamn idiots, man. Listen, leading up to this, Brittany had a chance to just give America what they wanted. Get recruited as a traitor and turn right around and plunge the knife into Danielle's back once again. It's just a game. You're playing to win. You could have done it and made everybody happy, but no, she feels guilty about Big Brother, and she says that they're friends now, and she can't do it, and they end up pulling a move at the final table that, in my opinion, is super sus. And if I'm Dylan, I think I'm seeing the Matrix the whole way. And if I'm Dylan, I'm latching onto my boy Ivar, and we're taking it to the final. But here's the deal. Going into that final, it was so clearly Gabby versus Danielle, the same way that it was Carolyn versus Danielle. And then the pivot to Ivar, to me, would look super suspect. Now, thank God for Dolores, is I'm sure what Danielle is thinking here, because Dolores continues to rogue vote. First Tom Sandoval last week when nobody was talking about him. Now Ivar when no one's talking about him. That made no goddamn sense. Now, in Dolores' head, she has this theory about Dorinda back in episode 1, something that Bob the drag queen told her back in episode 2, 3, and out of nowhere, she decides, it's not a girl, I'm voting for Ivar. Fine, whatever. Idiotic, stupid, made no sense. Her and Tom Sandoval are a perfect match in heaven for this game. Just basically what should amount to throwing away their votes in these cases. Voting for Ivar there should effectively have been a throwaway vote. But because Brittany and Danielle latched onto that, that would be such a red flag in my mind. All of the conversation leading up to it is Gabby, Danielle, Gabby, Danielle, Gabby, Danielle. To then pivot to Ivar lets me know that you two are like working in cahoots and just trying to play the numbers here and latched onto a vote and a name that made no goddamn sense. So to me, if they, we'll see what Brittany does. They left on the cliffhanger. Brittany looked very emotional. She said over and over again, though, that she can't vote Danielle. I don't see her changing her vote. But if she does, I think they got too cute with it. Trying to go with this Ivar angle when that was not the case, to me, just screams self-preservation. And you're working together to throw things off. Also, yeah, and you never know how these things play out with editing and whatnot. But the way that Brittany was all of a sudden so involved with Danielle, so I can't vote for her, you should vote for Gabby, it's not Danielle, running around the castle all of a sudden, like, and again, you don't know exactly how they acted and behaved in the past and what's really going on behind the cameras, but a very clear change in Brittany demeanor from last vote to this vote. Crying, shaking, pledging allegiance to Danielle in a manner that is like way more than just like, oh, we're faithfuls together and we're friends. That to me screamed, I'm in bed with the girl that pretty much everyone at least has an inkling, if not a full-blown confirmation that she is a traitor. Now all of a sudden you are like desperately going to bat for her. To me, that says everything you need to know. Now, Dylan is the key to this whole thing. Dylan and Ivar. The thing about Ivar is he's so convincingly a faithful. When everyone else gets up there, Danielle was just like, listen, guys, I'm a faithful, and I just don't know how to be a traitor. It's like, you all just say that. Ivar is talking the talk and walking the walk. He said it best. He's like, when Danielle is like shaking and can't sleep at night, he's like, I sleep fine. I'm good to go. Because I've been telling the truth for, 10 straight weeks. I've been living in this house honestly and faithfully and truthfully the whole time. And so he is so convincingly a faithful that for him to be the on the other side of this vote, it's like if Ivar is a faithful, that means that the other side of this vote has to be a traitor, because that means they're scheming and scamming to get the most believable faithful to be on the chopping block. Has to be the moves of a traitor. Because again, just look at Dolores going into that vote. Dolores voting for Ivar makes no sense. Everyone would agree that's a stupid vote. No one's talking about him. No evidence. It was very similar to when she voted for Tom Sandoval. And when she voted for Tom, it was a complete throwaway vote. The fact that it isn't, and that all of a sudden there's 2 more votes to go along with it, would scream to me, Dolores is an idiot and a rogue voter and always has been. And where are these other 2 votes coming from? They're coming from 2 traitors who are trying to utilize that rogue vote to save their asses, because the other one on the chopping block is the most suspected person in the game. I mean, add all of that up, and it's obvious what's going on here. Like, if Danielle votes if Brittany votes for Danielle, I think Dylan has to turn right around and go, you're fucking next. Because this shit never made any sense. I talked to you, Gabby. I talked to you, Brittany. We talked about Gabby. We talked about Danielle. There was no talk about Ivar. So why the fuck is Ivar in the mix all of a sudden? So to me, that was not a good move. And that's where you can't play these games emotionally. And I know it seems like Brittany feels bad from Big Brother. It seems like she thinks they have a friendship. But the moment you start playing like that, it's obvious what's going on. At least I hope so. Dylan Efron has been a weird player in that, like, he's either correct, but like ends up getting, pulled off the scent at the last second, or he's like making logical sense, but it's just, in the wrong direction, like right church, wrong pew. So he, to me, is like the key to the whole thing. And Gabby too. Gabby is the fact that she was able to stir this pot up as much as she was, declare it was Danielle, and then not be on the block. It made for a very interesting roundtable, because it definitely seemed like it was going to be Gabby versus Danielle. And the fact that they pivoted away from that and tried to be like, I'm not going to go after you, and it's not a woman, and all those angles, makes it interesting. But that's not someone I want to keep in the game, man. Like, even if you do somehow survive this vote, Danielle, Gabby is just kind of looming. And if her and Dylan Efron have another roundtable of weird events and weird evidence to then talk to each other and keep getting on the same page, it seems like you're in trouble. So the Danielle is like, oh my God, I hate her like poison at this point. I feel like I'm watching the Yankees play baseball, watching the Patriots play football. I'm rooting so goddamn hard against her. And I really thought that Brittany could have done it, should have done it, would have done it. And I also thought that Brittany was smarter. Like, she's been really good. And then the minute she became traitor, she like switched up her whole demeanor, switched up her entire style. And I think it's pretty transparent what's going on. But again, you don't really know. Of course, they make things look a certain way. But I want to hear from Gabby immediately following this roundtable, just to see what she feels, because she is pretty dialed in. I mean, she knew Danielle immediately. She sussed out that it was traitor versus traitor. She is a star, by the way. Following her on social media, she is so goddamn funny. And I hope that she takes it home. And then there's the seer, the power of the seer is looming, which is a wild wrinkle, and I don't think they've done it before, to have a moment where a player has the ability to find out another player's status. But to do it after the round table, I mean, I'm sure it still means a lot going into the final, basically, where, theoretically, if you get out Danielle. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think that Brittany's going to vote for Danielle. And then, so she sticks to Ivar and everyone sticks to the vote. It goes to chance. But if Danielle is out and then one of those other people are the seer and they suspect Brittany because, her and Danielle are together, it could be bango bango, game over. So the seer really looming large. I mean, that's an understatement. Of course, it was going to loom large no matter what. This stage in the game, being able to find out somebody's status is always going to be a big deal. But given the way that it might be Danielle, and then if it could be one of the Dylan, Ivar, Gabby, you turn right to her best friend, and it could be over right there. So a very interesting turn of events. I mean, between the Danielle Carolyn showdown last week into the Ivar curveball at the round table this week, 2 phenomenal episodes. This would mean, assuming that the finale obviously is dramatic and they stick the landing, really, really finishing strong. In a season that could have been completely compromised after all the rumors of Danielle telling Brittany that she was a traitor. That was said by Carolyn on her Patreon. So Carolyn gets the boot last week. One of the best traitors ever. Fumbles at the 1-yard line. Gets the boot. And then now goes on her, the difference these days in these games is when you get voted out, you then go on your press tour. And she decides to put up a Patreon episode where she says that Brittany was told by Danielle straight up, Danielle said, "I'm a traitor." And that production was absolutely furious with her. Danielle then deleted the Patreon episode. So I'm sure NBC Peacock called her up and said, take that fucking down right now. And the only thing I can think is that Danielle told Brittany, but just right before she recruited her to be a traitor. Because if she told her like in the middle of the game, truly the whole thing would be compromised, and I don't know how they would be able to keep on. So it had to be that yes, I told her, but an hour from now, I'm going to recruit her as a traitor. So it doesn't really matter. But the reaction when Danielle revealed herself to Brittany. I'm sure it's kind of a confirmation bias when you already know the case, but usually the big hood reveal, people are like floored. They're laughing maniacally. They're stunned. They're appalled. She was just like, oh, yeah, it's you. And that might be because, again, Danielle's been playing the worst traitor game of all time, and it seems like everybody knows it, and somehow she keeps staying alive. I mean, if you do follow all these people on social media, Boston Rob, all the Survivor guys, Tony, all of them, after they get voted out, they do these little like post-game videos that don't make it to television and just get posted on social media. Everybody from Derek, Wes, Rob, all these people to a man have been like, as soon as they get revealed that it's Danielle, they're like, oh yeah, we know.
Without a doubt, Danielle has been like the most chaotic and messy, and that's not like the magic of editing. That is like what was unfolding before my eyeballs every single day.
It's almost like they're keeping her in the back pocket. Like, we know she's a traitor, so let's try to find the other one. And then if we do, like, game over. But I mean, I just don't understand how she kept making it this fucking far and broke the rules. And, on the one hand, it's like people say she's the worst traitor of all time. But to me, if you cause this much discussion, if you evoke this much anger and hatred, if you make it this far in the game, if you make it dramatic, then you're a great traitor, But when you find out that she broke the rules, when you see the overacting and the shaking and the crying, and it's like, ugh, you truly are bad, playing a bad game, and don't deserve it, when there was other traitors who played a great game and do deserve it if they didn't fuck up, one game, one challenge, whatever it may be. I do get great satisfaction out of Danielle when she does her confessionals, like, I'm about to annihilate you. Like, the whole time she's like shaking, nervous, paranoid. And then you can tell that she, flips a switch to go to the camera and be like, I'm the boss. I'm that bitch. I'm going to fuck you up. And she said that about Gabby, and man, did that not happen. She's like, I feel bad for you. I'm about to annihilate you. You don't know what's coming. And not only did Gabby stand her ground, She basically convinced people to vote for her and was not a part of the vote. So all that bad bitch talk, all that tough guy talk got you absolutely nowhere. So that was satisfying. I don't know if this is an editing thing, but every time someone is accused by Danielle, they do a very bad job of pointing out all the reasons why Danielle is a traitor. And again, that might be because they're so obvious and there's so much that from a production point of view, they're like, we can't air this because the audience will be like, yeah, she's such a fucking traitor. Why doesn't she get voted out? But when Gabby spends her time, and Carolyn did this as well, you spend all your time talking about yourself, and Gabby's like, it's not me, and I'm not that, it's just a strong woman who's being falsely accused, all that shit, rather than just being like, I caught them in the fucking bookshelf room together. Her and Carolyn were sneaking around together, and one of those people was voted out as a traitor. What do you think the other one is? We know that she once gave up a shield on purpose for someone else. That's not the behavior of a faithful. Every time she's like, I never say anybody's name. I've never accused anyone. It's like, yes, you fucking have. And if they just keep hammering that and laying those things out, because Dylan is one guy who plays with his heart, and he's like, I don't want to upset anybody, and this is going to hurt me and kill me to vote for my friend. I love you as a person. But if you just keep hitting him with facts, he will vote with his brain. And if you just keep saying those things, and I hope that it's happening behind the scenes, and it's just that we don't end up seeing it, because otherwise it just is such a bad job of you have all the evidence, just say it out loud. As far as the rest of the episode, Tom Sandoval, round of applause, salute sir, like a 21 gun salute for Tom Sandoval for being one of the most entertaining idiots of all time in reality TV. His sign off of I knew it was me. Who's the most threatening guy left? It's your boy. And what did I think of this experience? It was amazing because I'm so good at it. Who saw that coming? Me.
By the order of the traitors, you have been murdered. I was expecting this. Who's the most threatening of the guys? Obviously me. I've enjoyed this so much, and I didn't realize I was going to be so good at it.
I mean, just absolutely delusional in every sense of the word. He almost laid it on so thick in his farewell, where he was like, I'm the best, I'm the most respected, I'm the most revered, the most feared. I was like, all right, I think he knows that he was a total joke and is leaning into it. Like, I got to give him some credit. I think he is self-aware enough at that point. And shout out to Alan Cummings with a kill shot when he got voted out, and they said, well, it's the first time Tom Sandoval's ever been faithful, was an absolute killer line. So that part of it was great. The challenge to become the seer being a total crapshoot, I didn't love. I mean, the one problem I have with the Traitors is the challenges in general. They're just to add money to the pot. They're really, there's sometimes a shield involved. But most of the time it's just luck, stumbling into it, finding it, being on the team that has it. I think something as powerful as you get to find out the status of another player should have been a more difficult challenge, a more skill-based challenge. But that was grinding my gears too, man. I was steaming mad watching Danielle just keep getting more money. It was like the one person I need to not win this seer power is probably going to win it. Now, I had a feeling, and I think this is the case, that whoever wins the third round, it's like, doesn't matter what happened with the baby doll, doesn't matter what happened with the clown balloons. Whoever dug through the shit and got the most gold coins is probably going to have the seer power. Will be interesting, like, if the person who got the seer power gets voted out, though. That's why having the seer thing, but not until after the table, is like, well, then really, what's the point? It might become a moot point altogether if that person is gone. So all in all, the Sandoval vote out was great. The challenge was interesting, and then that round table, my oh my. Now, neither person did a good job convincing people to change their vote. I mean, that's why Dylan stayed the same. That's why Dolores stayed the same. And I think Danielle, I think everyone's going to hold the same, which would then mean goes to challenge. It goes to Chance, right? If I'm remembering correctly. I don't think I've seen I don't know the rules there, but if it would be Dylan voted for Danielle, Dolores voted for Ivar, Danielle, is casting the final vote there. I just can't see her flipping. I mean, she said it, but when you see, that's the perfect opportunity to do it. As much as I don't think Brittany wants to or maybe will turn on Danielle, they have been laying the foundation for this the entire season. And we know on these reality shows, they love to storytell. They love to connect what's from episode 1 all the way to the finale. And of course, they're going to tell the Big Brother story, but they really highlighted it. Like, as a person who didn't watch Big Brother, didn't know either of them coming into it, I know about it now. They established it. They had Brittany basically apologize, and they had their moment together. And that all makes me think that it's leading up to another Brittany backstab, because they wouldn't have told this whole story so that you know it, so that you can go like, oh shit, she did it again. I guess it could be one or the other. It could be, I told you I was never going to do it again, and I stuck to my word, or I got you again, bitch. If you're Brittany, now you can say, listen, I'm not leaving it up to chance. I might go home. You in the name of like your own competition, you can rest your head at night saying, listen, I told you I was going to vote for you, but that was before I knew it was going to directly lead to a possibility that I go home. So you can, rest your conscience doing it that way. And also looks great on your behalf that you can at least start to back off if I'm Dylan, I'm turning around saying, what the fuck was this Ivar shit? Where did this come from? You're clearly working with Danielle, who we just gave the boot to. But if you are the one who casts that final vote on Danielle, you can at least get a little bit of that stank off you. Like, what are you talking about? I'm working with the traitor. I'm the one who voted out the traitor. No matter what, usually when you vote out a traitor, there's at least an initial burst of like, yeah, you're the hero. Now, when it's like blatantly obvious, like Gabby clocked that it was traitor on traitor crime, Wes saw that Rob was so convinced about Drag Queen Bob that it was traitor on traitor. So, you might still be in trouble, but it always behooves you to be the person who voted out a traitor, because then you at least get a little bit of goodwill with the remaining people. And if it does fall that way, you're the last traitor remaining, and you just voted out a traitor, and you just got to get through one last episode, really. If Brittany has any competitive bone in her body, she's got to do it that way. She's got to. And I guess, you don't know that the other people aren't going to change their votes or not change their votes. So she might be fucked. She might have just said, I'm not voting for Danielle, and that's that. But if you have any competitive bone in your body and you see this game at all, you're going to say to yourself, I'm switching up. I don't know what they're going to do, but I will switch to prevent it from going to chance, because I am not risking going home. And I think you have every right to do that no matter what you said. And again, it's a fucking game of lying, folks. People, this was a big thing this week when some of the traitors who some of the faithful got voted out. Chriselle, namely, was on podcast saying, can you believe Danielle said to me that she swore on her grandkids? And some people were like, wow, that's like trash. How could you swear on your grandkids? It's a game about lying. Everybody's lying. No one's judging you for saying, I swear to God, I swear to my grandma, I swear to my dead this, I swear on my kids, my grandkids. Yeah, that's the shit you say. Because if someone were to say to you, do you swear on your grandkids? And you would go, oh, I can't do that. Then you fucking lose. So it's a game of lying. It's a game of backstabbing. You're ultimately going to have to try to stab everybody. And Danielle was smart, I think, in thinking that here's where I will give Danielle credit. The last 2 episodes, she did a great job getting Carolyn out, albeit a little over the top, because I think it put a bullseye on her back, the overacting and the conviction with which she said it. The real name of the game is just staying the same. That's why I think Brittany did a bad job on this one, because if you were kind of calm and collected previously and now all of a sudden you're freaking out, you should almost be like, listen, I don't care if Danielle goes home. I don't care if Ivar goes home. Like, I'm one step closer to winning. That's how she felt in episode 7 and 8. That's how she should feel in episode 9 and 10. This is where Danielle was smart, is that knowing that Brittany would probably not backstab her again and utilizing that at the last second to play upon that, thinking, even if Brittany's saying to herself, I want to win this game, you can win along with another traitor. So it's like, here's a girl who doesn't want to backstab me because of her reputation, and I'm handing her the ball at the 5-yard line to be able to win and not backstab me. So that was smart. I just hope that Brittany, was able to see that, what's more important is her winning than her not lying to Danielle again. Because, you're supposed to be here to lie to win. The game is called Traitors, okay? The game is not called Trustworthy. The game is not called Truthsayers, all right? So, great cliffhanger. Leaving me angry. Leaving me wanting more. Really making the best out of a season that with some bad gameplay could have been a bad season, and they end up making it into an absolutely great one. And you got me again. I'll see you next week as we, pretty much, I think this is the finale, right? I think we start to go into the final episode where we'll get into that final vote with the smoke and the, voting, are there any traitors left and all that. In the end, I hope, if it couldn't have been Tom Sandoval, I hope that my girl Gabby is standing there alongside with Dylan and even Ivar. Ivar has not played a great game, but he really has been such a faithful that if he can make it through this, I think Dylan, Gabby, and Ivar, fucking Dolores, whatever, I guess she would have to be a part of it as well. She shouldn't get a single dime. But that's a good trio of faithfuls to win it. And if Brittany does backstab Danielle, she deserves to be there as a traitor in the end. There's only one scenario where if Danielle skates by and somehow gets to win, man, that will be one of the most infuriating things I've ever watched.